Yep, you're right. This video is long overdue. What's up, folks? You folks knew this already, but I am obsessed with gear. They are some of my favorite videos to make, and you folks seem to like them the best as well. I seriously can't get enough of what other chefs are using, checking out what the peeler they're using, Sharpie, paring knife, butchery knife. We use a lot of stuff, so why not use the best stuff you can find? In browsing through my gear videos that I've done in the past that have been focused supremely on helping you folks, I've kind of teased at what I've used. I wanted those videos to be useful for the serious culinary student, the new line cook, the new sous chef, anyone who's interested in taking their setup to the next level. All the stuff I covered was some very entry-level, affordable, but still high-performing gear that I've been able to rely on in all the kitchens that I've worked in the past. But all of a sudden it hit me. I've never actually told you guys what I keep in my knife roll when I go to work. My name's Justin Khanna, and this is What's in My Knife Roll 2018. So let's start off with the bag itself. I just bought this. The guys over at Hadley & Bennett were awesome enough to hook it up. P.S. Stay tuned to the end of this video if you want to win some swag from them. This is their MISE bag. It is black leather on the outside. Not much to say. After that, it's got a zipper. And so far, I'm really enjoying using this, but it's not perfect. More on that later. Not much to say about the outside. Pretty simple, but it does have this little red zipper that's the only color pop on the bag. It's not only easy to locate, but it's so on brand. Coincidentally, this knife roll doesn't roll at all. It opens up book style. Also, this is fully loaded. It somehow expands and contracts depending on what's in it. I'm not entirely sure how this witchcraft is possible. So let's give it a zip open. This contains the first steps that I'll take as I'm setting up my station. After I establish a little TSD, I will get this knife out. This is my knife of choice right now. This is the Ninox green-handled 9.4-inch slicer. Got the green handle there. I've just got a cheap sheath on it that I bought from Amazon because the original wooden saya that this was in, I took it all apart only to try to build a magnetic closure style saya, and spoiler alert, it didn't work. This was my graduation gift upon completing culinary school. That was almost 6 years ago. It's been all over the world with me. The edge lasts forever. The spine is smooth, so it's really comfortable to hold. I love the handle material. The balance is near perfect for my preference, and the handle stays really secure in my hand. I love this knife. Next to that knife in the bag, I have the black on black MAC ceramic honing rod. I've covered this in videos before, but the grit is just higher on this honing rod. Most of my knives I take up to a 6,000 grit stone, so it seems kind of silly to hone it on a 700 grit honing rod or whatever the other ones are. This one's around 1200 grit. It's got a really beefy handle, the reinforced core, a little metal loop hook if that's what you're into. Plus it's got a rubber tip on it, so if you do drop it, it's kind of like having a case on your phone. I can't promise it's not gonna break, but it definitely makes you feel better than just using it naked. And that leads me to my first point on the MISE bag. It operates with this really cool elastic and nylon design. There's 3 bands here that are elastic. These stretch, but then in between, everything else is just this like ballistic nylon that doesn't stretch, it's static. I definitely didn't know that until I got my hands on it, and it does take some getting used to how to finagle your tools into those spaces. But once I got it, I 100% feel like my stuff is secure. It's not rattling around in here or pressed up against each other to get scratches on it. It's definitely something that I felt with my Boldrick leather roll-up that I've been using in the past. It's not really a deal breaker, but if you're into knolling, this bag is perfect for that. Zipping open this section of the bag. This is like specialty utensils and anything that I'm gonna be using to set up my bain-marie on my station. Tiny spoonula. If anyone tells you that spatulas are better than spoonulas, they're lying. This does everything that a spatula can do, plus it's able to scoop purees, which is just one less thing in your bain. I love it. I'm using these kind from Williams-Sonoma right now. There's a disclaimer though, the one that I wanted to include in this video, I actually left at the kitchen that I was last prepping at, but this is a great opportunity for me to tell you the difference. You don't want these kind, the one where the head separates from the handle, because food likes to get in those crevices and it's gross. Over time, this is also prone on falling off into the blender of whatever puree you just spent 45 minutes prepping. So head design is good. Fusion here, not good. When you do pick up a spoonula, you want one like this, where the silicone is fused all the way throughout. If you can't find the ones from Williams-Sonoma where you are, I also recommend the ones from GIR. Get it right, I've covered those before. Spoons, I've got 4 spoons here in my bag that I'm currently working with, and they all serve very specific purposes. First up, the demi-tasse spoon. If you have 2 of these, they're great because they're really good for those 2-handed tiny quenelles. I actually used one that was a very similar bowl shape to this when I made the thousands of salmon cornets this at the French Laundry. But the reason I like having this in my bag is because that it's small and light enough so that when you put it in a deli container, it's not gonna tip over. And then this can just stay in there all service. It's perfect. I'm 94% sure that this is for my meal at El Cellar de Can Roca. Don't tell anyone I'm a scumbag. Spoon number 2, I covered this one all about what I brought back from Paris. I love this spoon right now for one-handed quenelles, and the handle design makes it really easy to find when it's all amongst all your other tools in your bain-marie. Big dog here, interesting bowl shape. I'm trying this one out. Basting fish or meat in brown butter, moving food from one location to the next, saucing plates. I'm giving my Lady Hamilton spoons a bit of a break. I've used those for the past almost a year, so I'm giving some love to other spoons that are in my toolbox. I was told when I bought this spoon a few years ago in Chicago that this spoon was at the hotel that Theodore Roosevelt used to stay in, so potential VIP spoon. Last up, a really basic Grey Kunz perforated spoon. This one does have more holes than the typical perforated spoon, so it's really good for what it does best. Offset spatulas. I've got 2 here. One of them is my De Helleren Bronze Bolstered Beauty. I bend this specifically for working with fish. It just helps with really delicate proteins or vegetables. I believe I learned this move from the guy that was working the grill station at Frantzen when I staged there a few years ago. Also, big ups to those guys for 3 Michelin stars. Congratulations. Next up, and you already know this one, the Town Cutler Offset. This one has been beveled down on all sides to help with spreading purees and picking up tweels and all of those offset activities. Tweezers, my new red ones. These are great so far. Most kitchen shops that sell tweezers have these in about 10 different colors, so you can take your pick. I prefer this offset design. I'm not opposed to these straight ones either. These bird's beak ones though, no, stay the hell away from those. Thermometer. This one is the Javelin by a company called Lava Tools. It is way cheaper than a Thermapen, and it's only a couple seconds slower. It's also smaller and has a magnet in the back of it. But for any sugar work, checking the temperature on protein, if you're doing like a lot of protein, like whole roast chickens, I haven't had any issues with this yet. They also have a pro version, but I honestly don't use a thermometer that much. I just like having one that's simple and reliable. Cake tester. I got this one in Sweden. It has like a flattened tip. It doesn't come down to a point. It's almost like hammered down. Definitely gets the job done. I made a video all about this that I'm gonna just put up here. Peeler, the Kuhn Rikon is still the best one I've used. You can get like 3 on Amazon right now for less than 10 bucks, so there's no excuse to not have hella backups of these. Matte Fur Bench Scraper. Friends don't let friends use sub-quality bench scrapers. This is the best one in my very humble opinion. These come in clutch in so many applications. There's a reason this is not the first time I'm talking about this. Oyster knife, we are in the Pacific Northwest, so there is times when either clams or mussels or oysters need to be opened. It also works for those applications where you just need something that's kind of like blunt and sharp to smash into something, like breaking up ice or sugar or anything like that. So one feature of the MISE bag that I was really drawn to was this utensils pouch. The way it's set up is to kind of separate both sides of the bag. Flipping open the other side of the bag, I've got my scissors. These have a potentially sharp tip. I don't want these poking through the utility pouch. I'm really sorry I can't remember the name of these, so if anyone can read that, yeah. Most important thing with these, comfortable handle, tightenable blades. That's the screw on this side. 2 biggest downfalls of scissors, either they make your hands cramp up a few minutes after using them, or it's not that the blades get dull, it's that they get too far separated out to actually cut anything. So this is super important. I'm still carrying chopsticks with me. This changes up quite a bit. I've got them in a little brown leather bag just to make sure that they don't stab through anything. I've got the Thai sticks in the bag right now, only because I wanted to redeem myself with Abe over at Eating Tools. I made an entire video about these and I called them tea sticks the entire time, and he was very quick to correct me. They're made out of titanium, so it's Thai sticks. All right, last up, my little petty or paring knife. I'm currently testing the Town Cutler octagonal handle. Got a custom leather scabbard on that, and that's it. I only have 2 knives in my knife roll. The Ninox is one knife that potentially functions like these 3 other knives here, and the utility knife covers the job of all 4 of these knives. So I've learned to take what would normally take 7 knives and distill it down into just using 2. Now, if I know I'm cooking some specific food or prepping something that requires something that's a little bit more specialized, I will 100% bring that knife. But if it's a stage or a cooking interview or a pop-up, or a friend just says, hey, I need help with this dinner, winner. I know that I can bring everything that's in this bag and I'm gonna crush it. So as much as this video was for me to show you what I'm currently packing, hopefully a takeaway for you can be to take a look at what you're using and ask what you can trim down. What are the absolute essentials that you need? And I know, depending on what station you're on and what you're cooking, it's gonna change, but we all know the chef that has way too much gear. And on the other end of the spectrum, there's the chef that doesn't pack anything and you see them scraping a puree out of a Cambro with a spoon and you're like, homie, use this. Lastly, I want to thank Hadley and Bennett for hooking it up with the MISE bag. I was actually reminded on my first episode of the Emulsion podcast, I covered this bag and now I actually own it. Pretty crazy. Their whole theory is everything you need and nothing you don't. So personally, I like the look of this bag. It's super sleek. The video makes it look great, as it should. But for $320, which is basically the price that it's going for, I'd kind of have to get my hands on one before kind of splurging on something or being encouraged to recommend it. Ellen the Apron Lady, if you're watching or listening, I'd love to try one out. They aren't paying me to say anything good or bad about the bag. They genuinely wanted to ask for my feedback, and I did pay out of pocket for that bag. But overall, I do think it's a really solid bag. High quality materials, it works as advertised. It works in a different way than I've seen any other knife bag work. If you have a ton of gear, this bag might not work for you, but I did challenge this bag to see if everything that I wanted to cover in this video would fit inside of it, and it pulled it off great. Now, like I said earlier in the video, it's not perfect. My problems I do have is there's no real elegant way to carry it. If you have a backpack, it seems like it'd just be a little bit too tall for it. It'd just kind of be sticking up out of the top of your backpack. And there are no handles on it, it's just the bag. So I'm gonna recommend this bag to anyone who doesn't take their gear to and from work a lot, but just wants a really slick and secure way to store their knives at work. It's great for the kitchen where you either store your tools either under a counter or in a cabinet or inside of a drawer. Plus it has a really small footprint. It doesn't unroll into this giant flappy knife roll. It just opens really elegantly like a book and all your tools are right there ready to go. Also, because it's so thin, I can see this coming in really clutch if you're traveling and checking a bag, packing this into a suitcase. Again, totally depends on how you're gonna use it. The Apron Squad over at Hadley and Bennett was so generous, they wanted to show you folks some love. So from now until May, use the code EMULSION15 at checkout and you'll get 15% off whatever you wanna buy. If you've been wanting to pick up this bag, one of their aprons, their chef coats, the socks, hopefully that discount helps. They also send me a bunch of swag and I wanna give it away here on the channel. What do we have? There's this pair of chef socks from Richard Porter. Really funky pattern, plus they're inspirational. Look, wake up and fight. I will not be trying these on, you can just have them. I got a notebook from them as well. You can never have too many of these. It just says Apron Squad notes on it. High quality paper on the inside. It's dotted, which is kind of cool. Included with that is a little swag sticker, plus a little pin so you can turn your normal apron into a Hadley and Bennett apron. Just kidding. So if you want to rep them, this is also up for grabs. It also wouldn't be an Apron Squad giveaway if we didn't include an apron. So let's creep on this design. Hide it with a little bow. So sweet. This was through their collaboration with the Hundreds. This is dope. So yeah, it's got the camo on one side and the navy on the other side. Got the red strap pop right here. Got some pockets as well, and of course the Hundreds logo. So if you want to win any of these, standard rules apply. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, get some nice color on that like button, and comment down below with your most underrated kitchen utensil and why. I want to get some tips from you folks. And because there's so much swag, there's going to be 3 winners, so I'm going to keep this one open for a month. Entire month of March, you're eligible to win. Best of luck in the giveaway. Thank you so much for your attention. I appreciate you making it this far in the video. I've wanted to make this one for a long time. As someone who makes videos and loves photography, I really enjoy the what's in my camera bag videos, but if you search what's in my knife roll, my videos are 3 of the top 5 videos, so that's a little humble brag for me. I got that category on lockdown, but I'm just happy this video could become a thing. I hope you keep crushing it. My name's Justin Khanna. Have a good one.